We're in.
Friends, we're here. March 3rd, 2024, Virtual Strangers, episode 207 is live. For real this time. I am your host, Wes. With me, as always, is my good friend, Ruuts. I think we're on the air, Ruuts. Can you confirm?
Yeah, we're on the air. But you know what's weird is like all my pages are still there, but I can't see them. And so like I'm hoping and crossing fingers when it's time to go that they'll be there. Otherwise I'll have to click on them and it'll be like a little delay. But it's how weird. I literally hit one button. I don't even know what I hit. And all of a sudden all my windows disappeared and were hidden. It was cool. It was a new experience. But yeah, there's always something.
So I can see your video screen. But it's like it's got the red box around it, like you're trying to resize it or whatever. It's not locked. And there's no video moving in it. It's just frozen on whatever that picture was when you switch scenes.
Yeah, so let me reshare it for you. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, it's good it's good to be back to there you go. You should be able to see it now. Yes, no.
Oh yeah, beautiful. Perfect.
Okay. All right, we're back
great.
in business. But yeah, and you know, it's always something, but I'm just glad that we're actually able to do the show. And like I told you before, I wasn't going to rewipe any hard drives right before the show or do anything weird with my computer because that sucked. So.
Yeah, well, let's talk a little bit about that. So we had a schedule or an episode scheduled 2 weeks ago today, which was supposed to be Virtual Strangers 207. I literally got up or stayed up half the night before doing out the show and getting everything set so that we could maybe go on time for a change instead of going at night like we have been doing. And then we weren't even able to have a show at all because, well, you just tell everyone what happened, Ruuts.
I wouldn't have. The biggest thing was I wasted all day and didn't have a solution until the very end of it. But yeah, I decided to wipe out my get a new hard drive, upgrade my hard drive to a 4 terabyte one, and I had two hard drives that were set up for operating systems, and apparently removing one of them and putting it in is a big no when they're tied together somehow, and it created a big clusterfuck mess that. I'm just now kind of feeling like everything's set up. I am glad I did upgrade that NVMe because the newest was it the 990 Pro. Doesn't seem like on paper it would be that much better, but it dropped my computer score jumped like 1,500 points just from it dropped the milliseconds.
Oh wow, nice.
And so like it's running a lot faster on that technology with everything else that I got in there. So I'm glad that that once we got it all set, it was set. But now, yeah.
And now the patrons, they have show notes for what we can call the lost episode, the episode that never happened.
That's right.
But here we are. We're back. And Ruuts, it's funny because I feel like the last 10 to 12 episodes that we've done has been us coming here saying that we're back now. And it never has really quite turned out to be true because of things that have been going on in my personal life. And I guess we should go ahead and clear the air for that for those of you who haven't been following along. We've been real sporadic in our schedule since pretty much November. And, we had a lot going on during that time. We had, of course, the holiday season, and we had the 2023 show. We had our trip to Vegas and CES, among a lot of other things. But what I haven't talked about so much is kind of the things that have been going on in my personal life, which I've alluded to quite a bit, but maybe not spelled it out for everyone. My father went into the hospital in early December. And he went in with chest pains. We thought he was having a heart attack at the time, but it turned out not to be the case. He actually had pneumonia. But prior to him being hospitalized, he was already dealing with other health issues. He was dealing with kidney failure. He was dealing with early onset cirrhosis of the liver, all stuff that was hereditary, but seemed to take a big turn for the worse right around the time that he took his Pfizer jabs, but we won't get into that. Um, anyway, starting in early December, my dad was in the hospital in very critical condition, and he hung on for months and months and months. But this past week, he quit hanging on, and my father passed on. So that's what's been going on with this, man. That's why we haven't been had time to do shows or even play VR or anything, is because of outside everything else that's going on between work and the show and everything. I've been going back and forth to the hospital, and now over the past week or two, going back to where I grew up and taking care of all of the arrangements and legalities that go along with that. But as sad as I am to say that that's all over now, I'm also very happy to say that that's all over now, and I'm back here. I've wanted to, I've wanted things to normalize for some time. I've needed it. I'm very tired. Um, so I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to be back, able to spend time with all of you here doing this, which is one of my very favorite things to do, and I'm happy to be able to get back in and play some damn VR Roots. It feels like it's been forever that I've actually been able to sit back and play a game and enjoy it, and that very much seems to be what's going to happen now. And I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, I was just telling D, like, there's certain games, like, I mean, I've been playing a lot. I haven't, the last week, I haven't played as much because I had all the PC issues and that kind of focused me. And then Helldivers 2 dropped and that screwed me. But so I've been wanting to get into a lot more to VR. I was going to say. So I was playing the UEVR mods, but yeah, I totally blew what I was going to say, Wes. I'll have to, it'll come back to me in about 2 seconds. But
So here's the good thing, like there was a period in my life there, and I'll just use this as a quick analogy, that I fell into some very bad destructive habits before my children were born, and it kind of the type of habits that pull you out of all of your other interests in your life. I quit following sports, quit listening to music and movies and all that stuff. But then after I got past that, it was like a renaissance for me because I've always been heavily into music, and now getting back into music
mm,
again after all those years away,
mm.
all of my favorite bands have 5 new albums that are new to
Oh
me.
wow,
You know what I mean?
man!
Um,
So you're kind of getting
because I
back your
because
passion.
Right. And it's kind of going to be the same thing here with VR. Even though it's only been a few months, I never finished Resident Evil A. I never finished Vertigo 2. I've barely played Asgard's Wrath 2. I've barely played Resident Evil 4.
Well, that's
Um,
what I was gonna say. Is that's what I was telling D. Is like I kind of put a lot of the big games, or actually most of the big games, on hold. Like, there's two thoughts. I'm not a review guy. Like GT will spend weeks, like he going into so much depth to make sure he can give a very very accurate review. I'm a first impressions guy. So how do I give you a first impressions on Asgard's Wrath 2 months later?
right.
So I haven't gone into it for the most part, or any of the like the big bangers. I've been waiting for the show to come back. The show gives me a reason to go into these games and come back and
Right.
talk about it. And so, like, I've been ready to go in and really check it out. I've had like several people message me and say, "Roots, you need to check this game out. Asgard's Wrath 2 is like amazing." Spry guy is been every time I talk to him, every time I'm streaming, that's what he pulls him away from my stream, is he's going to play some more Asgard's Wrath 2. So kind of psyched to get back into VR myself and check out a lot of these
So
these bangers, right?
so I'm glad you're bringing that up because I've been debating with myself what I'm going to do about Asgard's Wrath 2. Because truth be told, out of all the things that I haven't played during my time off, Asgard's Wrath, if it isn't number one, it's number two. Like Asgard's Wrath 2 is something that I'm so looking forward to getting into. So we have a 40 to 60 hour AAA game here, AAA VR game, that seems to have corrected a lot of the problems with the original. Um, they have since launch. They have released a Quest 3 update, which gave it a resolution bump of about 30%, right? Still the same textures and everything as the original Quest 2 version, but it renders out now at a sharper render resolution. So in the meantime, while we're not playing this already humongous game, they've got events going on within the game, timed events, which is new content. I forget what they're calling these events, but it's new content. It runs for 3 or 4 weeks. There's new enemies. There's things that you can do. It's only for a limited time. You get in there, you play it, you get special items and things, and then it's over and they go on to the next one. So we're missing out on all of that. So my question is, Roots, now do we jump in now, start playing the game so that we can maybe get caught up and not miss so much of that timed content that's going on? Or do we wait? And why would we wait? Well, we would wait because there is a high definition texture pack in development. So they're going to basically give this thing different textures and assets. It's going to be a little while, maybe a few months before this thing drops, but it's going to make it much closer to what a PC VR game would look like if we wait. Now, with that said, I'm not sure if this patch will apply to your Pro or if you're going to need a 3 to get the HD texture pack. But I'm kind of the mindset now. I'm already late. I've already waited months, and I know that there's a better version, a better looking version of the game coming.
It's
I
right
might
around
just
the corner.
wait. Yeah, I might just wait to play it.
It makes me wonder, like, if it is going to be something that's accessible for like the Pro or the Quest 2 or whatever. Because I was going to ask you if you have to, like, if you had a Quest 3, do you have to get the upgraded definition? Because there's two thoughts. Like, the Quest 3 having that extra resolution bump is amazing, but then you're going to sacrifice, and there's going to be places where you're going to run into chugging somewhere. Like, I would rather have steady 90 frames and have it look a little bit less than, you know, it's a mobile chip,
So,
and
so
I
it's a
mean, as
good
long, so,
it's a good question and absolutely a valid point. And I don't know with regard to the update that they already did for Quest 3, if that's optional or not. I do know that this upcoming HD texture pack will be optional. Like you
mm,
don't have to install it even,
okay.
because they're saying just this texture pack alone is going to be well over 10 gigabytes
Oh, wow. See, I'm not worried about
of
space.
space.
As long as it runs good, I just, kind of a snob like that. I want the frames to be solid, not moving, not jumping all over the place, right?
Yeah. So I think the answer is going to be here. There's so much game that I think I can afford to get in and play somewhere between 5 and 10 hours and still be like early in the game. So I'll probably jump
Correct.
in and play a little bit, get started, and then just kind of wait for that texture pack to drop to kind of get deep into it. But man, I played a little bit already, and it seems like a phenomenal game, and really one that people should be speaking a lot about when you're telling your friends about VR and when they're getting in and saying, "What should I play?" I think that it seems like this is one of those games. If you're on Quest, that you should be really recommending to people.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. It's definitely. I mean, Spry Guy loved the first one. He's loving the second one even more. So
So, what are we doing here today? Well, I think the kind of purpose of today's show is just going to be let's catch up. Let's talk about some of the things that happened while I was away. This week wasn't really the biggest week in terms of VR gaming news. There wasn't a lot of like games revealed or anything this week. But in the couple of weeks since we last had a show, there's been some pretty big headlines come out. So I think today we're going to just kind of talk over some of that stuff. And who knew, Roots, like, I've only been gone 3 weeks since our last show, but in that period of time, PSVR 2 is dead, bro. Did you hear the news?
Yeah, no, it's dead. It's done. It's so done that it's it's moving platforms. I don't know. I don't know this is the thing that I do know about it. I don't know exactly what's going on. I don't think most people, it just
No.
seems like there's so much chaos in everything that's going on, not just with Sony, Xbox, PC, like everybody's doing different things. They're merging in ways they've never done before. Layoffs everywhere. It's crazy. It's chaos.
I think we're seeing a convergence of a few different factors here. And I think very literally that the gaming industry um, has changed in some fundamental ways over the last few years. And we're seeing the business side of that kind of starting to adjust now to make up for it. So what's the deal with the layoffs? So with the layoffs specifically, and what you're seeing here on the screen is the latest in a long line of game industry layoffs. We're seeing this everywhere in every sector. It's not just a VR thing. It's not just a PSVR thing. This is hitting the entire gaming industry at large. People are losing their job.
Mm.
And I think we're seeing this for a couple of different reasons. Well, three really. One is we're kind of seeing the industry move past a very short-lived live service era. Live service gaming was the next big thing there for about 5 to 7 years, and we saw most of the major players in gaming kind of pivot to try to capitalize on that. But I think what we're seeing now, before they could even get it fully rolled out, there's a lot of risk in these types of games. You either hit it big or you lose big. There's no in between with it. Um, so I think first of all, with a lot of these layoffs, we're seeing a move away from the live service era, which in turn, running those types of games takes people, right? It takes people to keep servers up, um, to keep developing for the game and keeping it fresh over a period of time. And now that we're pivoting away from that, we're seeing that we don't need so many of these people. The other big thing that I think is that we're seeing being taken into account here is what the onset of the COVID era did to all of entertainment. So when COVID became a thing and people were told to stay home, the government was very much just giving away free money. Like everyone was getting thousands of dollars to spend on whatever they want. And then a lot of us were spending that on technology because we're stuck at home. We want to be able to spend time with our friends. How are we going to do that? Well, gaming is a great way to do that. So I think people spending all of that money, right, subsequently, right when a new console generation started, it created a bubble, and all of the big players adjusted their staffing to accommodate that. Now that we're on the other side of that, and we're dealing with the inflation that whole situation created, it's causing the economy to kind of take a downturn, and what we're seeing the gaming studios adjust to that as well. So I think that that's kind of a big part of it. And then, kind of the third thing,
Elephant in the room.
um, yeah, it is kind of the elephant in the room, is that with regard to building games for the next generation, which is the way that the gaming industry works, right? They're always building today for the games that are coming out a few years from now. Um, Generative AI is going to take the place of a lot of things that people used to do.
Mm.
And while it might not be there quite yet, it's obvious that within a 1 to 2 years, it is going to be there. And a lot of these digital artists and story writers and coders, um, these gaming studios just aren't going to need to pay people to do that anymore. And again, the big players that have foresight can see this, and they're adjusting accordingly. So there's a lot of different things going on and kind of happening all at the same time right now. And what we're literally seeing is that the major corporations, conglomerates that kind of control everything from the top down are now starting to adjust, starting to build out new models for what in a few years is going to be a very different industry as to what anything we've seen before.
It's everything. It's just not this, but you're right. Everything you just said is 100% true. But like I've seen it. Have you seen Elon Musk's Optimus robot and
I
what
have
it can
not.
do and how dexterous its fingers are and like it's folding clothes and this is the thing. Like I do pest control. I don't think I have a job in 5 years. I think these robots are going to be walking around. And for my safety, I can't be around the chemical, right? And they can see through the wall and see exactly where the bed bugs are and who knows what. Like it's the future. It's the iRobot. Why is it called Optimus? And too, I have this feeling like because Elon's new car he just released, he said if you can call it a car. I'm like, what the fuck, man? It's a car. Is it a car? How cool would it be if these robots and maybe I know GT would geek out turned into vehicles, man? Like, what future? We went from like, man, this is bullshit. The Back to the Future 2 never happened, and like within a space of 5 years, everything's happening at like all at once and it's like the craziest, scariest thing, but it's also the most fascinating, coolest thing, which is life, right? So I think it's cool. I think it'll be cool to see how it all plays out. I'm gonna believe it's gonna be good over evil, like everything, because God's in control, and I don't have control. I think it's more interesting than anything.
Yeah, and there's a lot of other things going on as well within the games industry. I find it kind of comical that 6 weeks ago, when Xbox, in a very public way, shifted away from exclusivity, shifted away from basically the hardware selling rat race. They're just accepting that they're not ever going to be able to sell as much hardware as Sony or Nintendo, and they're putting all their eggs in the basket of selling games, selling services, uh, and developing their cloud technology. Which, to anyone who's paying attention, that's that's the future, right? As cloud becomes more capable, hardware is going to become less necessary. So, all of the Sony fanboys, like to rub it in Xbox's face just 6 weeks ago. And now here we are today, and we're seeing exactly the same thing out of Sony. They're very much pushing into other platforms, namely PC. Everything that even the statement that they made about laying all those people off alluded to the changing face of the industry and moving into other platforms. And I think that we're seeing exactly the same thing from Sony that we saw of Xbox in 2 generations' time. Um, I'm not saying they'll ever stop selling PlayStations, but most people are going to be gaming on PCs or through the cloud. And they see that. They know that. They know that their bread and butter in terms of money comes from selling software, comes from selling AAA games anyway. And they're doing everything that they can to adapt and get ready for that. And I think that's what we're seeing here with PSVR 2. People, it's funny, Roots, like this last summer when people started really complaining about the games for their PSVR 2 and the lack of seeing what's coming down the road, so to speak. These people that were shitting on the platform, saying, "Man, I'm glad I didn't buy it," or "I wish I hadn't bought it." It would be a different thing if they were saying it would be different if I could plug it into my PC and use it. Now, just a couple of weeks ago, Sony basically tells everyone you're going to be able to do just that. You're going to have a wired headset that you're able to play your PCVR games on with the OLED and all the cool stuff that comes with PSVR 2. These same people that were shitting on it before, saying that it would be different if they could get PC on it now, these same people are shitting on it saying this is proof that Sony doesn't care about VR.
It's proof that
Where
these fucking people will never say anything positive about Sony. It doesn't matter what happens. They're like ready to fucking tear him down. And I wanted to take this opportunity to agree with Classy Grandma. She says she got laughed at a while back when she said PSVR wasn't going to be as big as everyone thought. Just saying. And the reason I'm even bringing that comment up, which is a good comment, but I wanted to thank her for the super chat that flew by. It says, hello, it's nice to see you
I
guys
didn't even
live.
notice it.
Love your work. Thank you. Whoop, whoop. $10 super chat. And when I saw it. That's the thing. And I meant to say it. And then we got to talking, but it made me glad to see it for many reasons. Like I haven't seen Classy Grandma here for a long time
Yeah,
because
I know,
we're
right?
never early enough. So seriously, because I had mentioned that to Dee, I said, and she said, yeah, because like if they go too late, then she won't be there either. Like some people just have a schedule, right? So we appreciate you,
Right.
Classy Grandma. I'm glad you made it to the live show.
Yeah, thank you for the donation and thanks for being here. Roots, I think this is awesome, right? I'm already happy with my PSVR and my purchase of the PSVR. You know, future aside, um, we PSVR 2 probably has had the best first year in terms of software support than we've ever seen from any other platform and any other device. I know people, if you're not a big fan of horror games, then you probably aren't feeling the love so much. But we had multiple AAA exclusive VR games come out, multiples of them in this first year for PSVR 2. Now I can't pretend like I know what the future holds for it, but just the games that have come out with it so far, it's been worth my money, the 550 or whatever to pick it up. Um, but now we're going to get to use this thing with PC. And how many times over the last 6 months have we said, I just want something that plugs in and lets me play my PC games? No mess, no frills. Just let me have a good modern headset to play PCVR on. And it seems like PSVR might be the one. We don't know yet. We don't know what it's going to look like when it comes out, but I'm excited to find out, at least.
I'm excited to just that we're at this point now where the exclusivity is kind of fading away. And I would submit, it's because we're moving into like you said, the cloud era where like they really need to push everybody away from having their own. They want everybody on the cloud, everybody in the metaverse, right? And so this would be the easiest way to slowly phase out, and all the big players are doing it, and so you can kind of see that that's what's happening. So yeah, it's exciting time. And I've been saying that, like I just want to play on my computer I just built. Well, now I can play with this amazing headset with an amazing PC pushing it as well. So super cool.
Yeah. And again, this is something. This is just kind of a continuation of what we've been seeing from traditional PS5 games coming to Steam, supporting DualSense controller and all of its functionality through Steam. So if you're playing like a PS5 game on your PC that you purchase from Steam, you can literally pair up your DualSense controller and the haptics will work. The triggers will work as if you're playing on your PS5. I'm hoping that that's what we see with the PSVR 2 headset
Mm.
and controllers because there's so many cool little features, whether it be foveated rendering, with the eye tracking, or the headset rumble, and then everything that's in the controllers. I'm hoping that all of that stuff's going to work. Only time will tell.
Well, it would be, I
Um,
mean, if it does, this is the thing, man. It's really good for me with the Pro as well, even because, and everybody, right? It's for the next generation, right? For the next, I think it was the next article, or maybe the thing is we want that foveated rendering to be as quickly as possible to start being the norm, right? So all
right.
these devs can start building around it, and once that happens, it's going to change everything, especially for these standalones, because that's really the only thing holding back is, and that's why was saying I was shocked when they didn't have it in the Quest 3, because we wouldn't be really talking about even texture pack updates. Like, I mean, I guess we would, but there'd be no no hit to the performance, right? Because everything would be foveated.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's something that we desperately need, because it's kind of the last link, right, between having us close that gap between what VR games look like and traditional games. We've seen it on PSVR2 now that we can have games that look like traditional games without having, a 4090 equivalent um, graphics processor, as long as we have that eye tracked dynamic foveated rendering enabled.
that's true.
Um,
There's
so
not
yeah,
really anything you couldn't run with that, right? Pretty much.
right, that's right. So hopefully this becomes the norm over the next couple of years as the new headsets come out. Really quickly, Tatum says, I want to see how this will work. The Steam app on PS5 seems to be the most plausible, but I could also see how the USB C plugs into the computer and that works too. All right, so here's the thing this could happen either way, right? Um, and let me start off the top by saying either way, it's going to be cool. Like, even if it is through downloading a Steam app on your PlayStation and then connecting that to your computer, while that would kind of suck, especially for people who don't have PlayStation 5s, um, it would still be cool for those of us who do have PSVR 2 and a PS5. Um,
Would that make more
but
sense? Because then that would drive people to maybe buy PS5s that never had an interest, even if they did it, and then maybe down the road kind of switched it to where you didn't have to have it, but they get that initial buy. I don't know.
it makes more sense for Sony that way. If they're trying to sell hardware and get people into their ecosystem, then it certainly makes more sense for them.
True.
Um, The other option is, and Tatum kind of put it like plugging into the computer was an option. That's not really the case. Basically, what we have here with the PSVR 2 is a display port over USB C. It's a proprietary thing that they tried to do on graphics cards a few years back.
Mm.
I forget what the name of the technology was, but only a handful of
It's on the
graphics cards.
2080s, right? Only the 2080 series.
Yeah. Yeah, there was only a few of them that supported it, and then they phased it out really quick. It's called Direct Link or something like that. So while there are PCs out there that hypothetically you could plug directly into and it would work, the vast majority of gaming computers out there, you wouldn't be able to do that. So what that basically means is there's going to need to be some kind of a breakout device,
Mm.
and that could be like a cable with a little box built into it, like the G2 has, or it could quite literally be a box, like the old what was it, HTC Vive, I think had one. Um, I think that's the best case scenario for everyone because it would mean that anyone would be able to buy one of these headsets and use it with their PC. You won't have to go spend $500 on a console to use it. Um, and then you'd have that direct connection to your computer, which is going to eliminate a lot of jank and potential troubleshooting.
I'll use that
Um,
over my pancake lenses for that reason alone. I can't get that. I can't get that in today's modern PC headsets. Why not? If this is
yeah,
what the way Sony goes, which even though I played devil's advocate as far as selling more hardware, this actually makes more sense to me because like everything
yeah,
you just said is a move away from hardware. They realize that even just now, people are talking about the Pro, right? The PS5 Pro. Well, the PS6 is so technology's moving so fast. They're already talking about the 6. Like that shouldn't
yeah,
be happening for another couple years, right? Like the technology time development time is shrinking. And so it's starting to make sense that like if you have a cloud system where you have your base, thing you need to connect to, and it relatively doesn't change much, and maybe they modularly upgrade every so often. You don't ever have to get a 6 or a 7 or an 8. You just play everything on it on the
right,
PC.
right.
So
Right. Well, I mean, standalones are advancing so quickly, and handhelds are advancing so quickly, and PCs are advancing so quickly. It kind of drags consoles along to where if they want to keep up and not just completely get washed out, they have to shorten their generation cycle. Um, so yeah, I think consoles in their last 2 or 3 generations before they get phased out completely are going to resemble PCs more and more and more until they're just gone and everyone's on PC and in the cloud.
Yeah, absolutely. And I predict, I still think that the personal PC is slowly being phased out, but I'll get laughed at for a year or two about that one. Paul Bellino, $10 super chat says he won't lie. Be pretty excited to use my PSVR2 with PC if done well. You could play Half Life Alex with it. It'd be a dream come true. You may be playing that on the actual PlayStation console as well. Who knows? Like, there's so much cross things going back and forth now between Valve and Sony, and I kind of feel like they're. I know Sony definitely, and I was reading an article about this the other day, Wes, and it was basically kind of asserting what we're saying, that Sony's realizing, or maybe they've realized for a while, that they just want a bigger piece of the pie. They've got so many people out there that would be playing their games right now if they could, especially on release, if they could just put it out to everybody instead of trying to hold it back, right? So it'll take a few years, I think, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll get there. But no, this is going to be awesome, right? To have this OLED panel and all of the haptics and everything that PSVR2 has built in, to be able to experience some of these PC games in this headset, and for that matter, all of these games that are getting modded in as well on that beautiful high def OLED screen is going to be awesome, and I can't wait.
Absolutely, absolutely. Bad Robo says price is a key, not just pure power. Moreover, optimization is much better than on console closed system than on PC, and I agree 100%. But here's the thing, like the whole cloud system, at least what I think the future is going to be, because that's the metaverse and everybody's connecting to everything for everything. At some point, we'll all have the same fucking little box in our house. It'll be the same thing, and everybody will connect through that box to the major thing, and it'll be the only way you can connect. And you wouldn't want to have a personal PC because the power that you'll get from this box connecting to their cloud will be so overpowering that it just will make it a personal PC look like garbage. So
Right. Right. As soon as they get the network connectivity to be fast enough to where the latency is not discernible, then we're off to the races. Then,
yeah,
right?
I think it's gonna be, like I said, it's gonna be so crazy, and I think it's gonna move so fast, faster than we would ever think, because AI has stepped in, and now AI. If people don't realize how AI works, like a night for an AI doing a problem is like 10,000 years of a person doing a problem. One night, or whatever the translation is. It's like so far advanced compared to what we can do, and it's just, when we've got so many models running at races, it's crazy. It's gonna be like the Wild West for a while,
Yeah. For
I
a while.
think.
So what else happened while we were gone? So we moved into the Apple Vision Pro era, and people have kind of been trying to work out what's that going to mean for the industry as a whole. Um, Apple Vision Pro has very much settled into its niche. People are kind of starting to realize what it is. It's a good looking glass into what the future holds for VR or spatial computing or AR, whatever you want to call it. Um, because it's some high end hardware with some high end capabilities. It's not for me. It's not for most of us. I feel like that are watching this right now because it doesn't game. There is no kind of like social component to it outside of FaceTime. Um, but we're expecting over the next year to 2 years to see competitors come out that bridge that gap, right? That offer a lot of these same features and functionality, but also give you the upside of the existing VR platforms, whether that be gaming or social spaces or what have you. And very early on, we learned that Samsung is going to try to be a viable competitor to Apple Vision Pro in the coming years and decades, partnering up with Google. Which leaves us to kind of ponder how Meta is going to approach this problem. And we all kind of expected, Quest Pro 2 to be their answer to Apple Vision Pro and Samsung, whatever it ends up being called. And I'm sure there will be others as well. But we really hadn't heard anything concrete about it until this past week. And now we know, Roots, that Meta is going to team up with LG. And for those of you who don't know, LG is one of the top OLED
Displays,
screen manufacturers in the world. They're
LG,
truly
Asus,
exceptional.
and yeah, they're really good.
Yeah. So the question is here, Roots. There's a couple of questions. One, how much is the existing Quest platform going to figure into the use case for this
Hmm.
device? The other big question is what kind of technology are they going to put in this thing? Because the thing that killed Quest Pro 1 was the price tag. It was $1,500, and for what it offered, people didn't feel like it was quite enough to justify the price bump. Everything I'm hearing about this Quest Pro 2 is that it's going to be around $2,000 or even more.
Oh Jesus.
Um, so my question is, should they be, from a business standpoint, should they be beefing this thing up to make it comparable with Apple Vision Pro in terms of functionality
Hmm.
at the cost of a higher price point than typical VR users would be willing to pay? Or should they be trying to kind of give us an in between that doesn't quite do anywhere near what Apple Vision Pro does, but maybe has some of the nice screens and 3D capabilities that device has, but at the same time trying to hit a more affordable price point, $1,500 or less. Um, and
I
I'll just
think.
go ahead and tell you what I.
Oh,
Well,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna
Go
say
ahead.
I think number two is what should be 100%, but I don't think that's what it's gonna be, unfortunately. But like it would be nice to actually, because this is the thing. Like it's not gonna compete with Apple, at least not with the Apple people, right? And so like it needs to be somewhat affordable. I mean, you want it to do those things, but let's be honest, people want to game with it, right? So it's got to do that first. And so like I don't know, I don't feel like it's at that niche point where people are wanting to have this thing on their face all the time or a headset all the time. I don't know.
I think they should try to do both. I think their problem with the original Quest Pro is that they tried to do half steps, like they didn't go far enough with the capability. I think if it were a bit more of a capable device and like next gen, like truly next gen, the people wouldn't have been so upset about the price of it. I think the only reason people were upset with that $1,500 price tag was because it didn't go far enough in terms of what it was actually able to do.
It needed more
Um,
RAM, ironically. And it's 12
yeah,
gigabytes a lot, but imagine if it had 24 gigabytes of RAM. Like when you're when you're if you want to sell something as a multitasking thing where you're working, like right now, well, I guess it's a bad example because I'm doing the show. And I've got like 15 tabs open, but sometimes I might have like 100 and I don't even realize. My thing's still running. I don't even that's how good everything's running, right? Like when you pulling up different windows and you're doing all these things, that's where the Quest Pro it can't even come close, right? It can't multitask that much. It can do some things over the Quest 2, but it's not even close to what a Mac Pro would do. So,
right. Right. And I think that that's the difference. And I think that that's where they have an opportunity here, right? I think that for a $2,000 to $2,500 price point, that they should absolutely be capable of producing a standalone headset that uh, that is basically to PC what Apple Vision Pro is to Mac,
right.
right? They should be able to make a standalone that has gaming PC level of power in it. And at the same time, make it so that it's more comfortable. And then, and then, Make it so that it runs on the existing Quest OS network, which means that it can play all of those games that are meant for Quest 2 and Quest 3, and then
True.
I would assume Quest 4 after it. Um, they could do all of that, I feel like, and still beat beat Apple in terms of pricing by over $1,000 and have so much more functionality, even if the hardware in terms of like the lidar and the the aluminum and the glass and all of this stuff that the Apple's really paying a premium to put in there. I feel like that they could cut some corners on some of that stuff, make a device that's more capable in terms of what it does, and really, I mean, it's never going to appeal to a mass market if you're talking about $2,000 or more, but you can get a device that not only is a hit with enthusiasts that do have that type of money, but also is a more cost effective tool for businesses and enterprise out there. Um, I think they can do that. I think they have the capability. And I think with all the work that they've done in recent years, kind of carving out their place in the marketplace, I think they have a lot of advantages that a company like
Mm,
Apple doesn't have to really come out and corner the market again, like they did in the last generation.
right. And the biggest thing that they have over Apple is Apple went first as far as with their price that they did with the Apple Vision Pro is so high that as long as they could come in at like even half, it makes it so much more reasonable. And if you can give people close to what you're getting with the Apple Vision Pro, because I guarantee there's a lot of people out there that want to game with it. And I know Mash is out there somewhere saying, I game with my Apple Vision Pro. Okay, I could game, I could play a game, a flat game on my a 300-inch screen in VR, right? Big screen. Wes would tell me that's not VR. You would have told me that was not VR month and a half ago. It's not VR. Watching a flat screen isn't. It's cool that you can do it, but if I'm going to do that, I'm going to do it in 240 frames on an OLED. You know what I mean? If I'm going to look
Right.
at a flat screen, so I kind of feel like uh, it'll be cool when the Apple Vision Pro can be used for actual VR. I think that's coming too eventually, hopefully.
Yeah. And you know that they could just go the complete opposite direction and literally throw all of their um new technology into the thing and probably blow Apple Vision Pro away,
Yeah.
putting out a $3,000+ device that has like the varifocal built into it and
Oh God.
the BCI interfaces with the wrist straps. Like they're working on a lot of stuff. The Kodak avatars, like they have a lot of things that are just within grasp that they haven't got down to an affordable price point yet. But if they really wanted to go out all out and do a premium product and take a little bit of a loss on it, like they could put out a device that just smashes Apple
Oh yeah.
right
Well,
out the gate.
this is the thing. Meta knows what they're doing. Like we may not like their decisions or some of the things that they do, but they're like they spend more on research than probably any other company in this field, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and they're one of the leaders of AI as well. I don't think Apple is in that boat. Maybe they are. Everybody's working on it. So,
So basically, what this is all amounting to is a second race to, call it spatial computing, call it mixed reality or augmented reality. Uh, it all um, it all equates to the same thing, which is immersive technology, the type of technology that we love. And this competition, this race, is going to benefit all of us in the long run. Those of us who love this sort of technology, and it's going to make the next 5 to 10 years very exciting to see how it all rolls out.
yeah. Thomas McNostril says, you know who else you could go with to be blown away?
My mom!
Yeah, you really could.
That's true. Anyway, that's what's been happening in the world of hardware and industry since I've been gone. But I think most people are here to hear us talk about games. which is what I'm here to do. So we should probably get started on that. But before we do that, let's say hello to our friends in chat. People like Classy Grandma who are here. Silver Nexus, Thomas McNostril is here. Bluebell, JS, Bad Robo, The Headbite. Hello, all of you. James is here. Gabriel 004 is here. Brondo is here. What's up, Brondo? Ryan Brannon VR is here. Mepper. What's up, Mepper? VR Spry Guy's here. Happy birthday, Spry Guy.
Yeah.
Spry Guy says, get ready for a new Valve headset because Scion just got a Quest 3. What?
Yeah, he actually, Scion whispered me today asking me questions on how I power up my Quest 3 when I first got it, blah, 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 and I said I didn't get the Quest 3, but yeah, you should be able to start it up. And, he was expecting absolutely no screen door. He said, I can still see some screen door and things far away.
It's there.
But it's got to be way better than the
1,000%.
Rift or Rift, not even Rift S, the Rift.
The original Rift he's
CV1.
upgrading from. CV1, yeah. Happy for Scion finally moving into the current ages of VR.
He's worried about the colors, though, Wes. That's the only thing he's worried about. I'm worried that I'm looking around. I don't see any of my utensils or anything. I think I left them downstairs. Okay.
Awesome Tatum is here. What's up, Tatum? Roy Schwartz. What's up? Who else is here? Mark Smith is here. Fox Die Infected is here. Silver
Bluebell
Nexus
just left a super chat. I'm going to go grab something real quick.
Thank you, Bluebell. Paul Bellino is here. Roar McRip Helmet is here. Old Darth is here. Quadzilla. Looper the Underground Game Cat. What's up? Who else? Michelle B. What's up, Michelle B? Good to see you. I Want a Lot is here. Who else? Scrolling. Mateo 311. What's up, Matt? Good to see you, friend. Who else?
Okay.
Oh, what's up, D? D's here. Good to see you, D. Samson 143 VR. The Samson is in the house.
I saw Mateo in here
Samson.
earlier as well.
Yeah. Just said hello to Mateo. Hopefully he's still around. Hussein X is here. What's up, Hussein X? Scrolling. This is what happens when we do half a show before we do roll call.
It's all right, though. Well, this is some eventful stuff there. Gave people time to slip in. Some slippies, right?
That's right. Boy Brown is here. What's up, Boy Brown? Space Denison here as well. Prophecy 777 is here. Phil Yarn, what up? And that's as far as I can scroll. I'm sure there were many before that. If I missed you, I apologize.
Another super chat.
Let's see. Bluebell with the 9.99 said, "Well back, guys. We missed you. Thank you." I think it's supposed to say welcome back, but thank you, Bluebell, for the $10. Missed you too. And then Classy Grandma says, "Time to talk games. What are you playing, guys?" I'm not playing anything as of right now. I mean, I've got some things on my radar for this week, which we will talk about later as we talk about what's out this week. But what about you, Ruuts? What have you been playing?
I got sucked into like probably half the people out there, even though it's not VR. And I really wish this game was in VR. Helldivers 2. It's like the best co-op game I've ever played for shooters and like it's like Starship Troopers. It's just amazing. I guarantee you, if there's any flat game you should play this year, Wes, and hang out and play together, it's this one. It's just even the way that the
Cool.
devs are super cool, the way that everything works together, everybody's on this collective thing. Super Earth is in the center. You've got the robots attacking from one side of the galaxy and the bugs coming from the other, and you're trying to liberate these planets. Everybody's tied together in progress, and there's one GM or dungeon master. His name, what did he say his name was? Yeah, actually, they said his actual one, Joel. Um, Literally goes around and fucks with planets. Like if you seems like things are getting, he'll or help you. He'll start giving you, like, you have these things you can call down from the sky called stratagems. They're parts of your ship, ways that you can attack. You can call down like sentry guns and different like things in your loadout to help, and everybody works together. It's just amazing. It's probably one of the best games I've played in a long time, and I really hope the devs out there sometime here to bring it into virtual reality, because even if you just kept it as it was, it would be flipping amazing. Outside of that, just mostly UEVR mod stuff. But I am looking forward to getting back to you know the games we talked about earlier, because I just haven't
Yeah.
played much of them. Pretty much the same boat that Wes is in. I'm in the same boat. So
Yeah, I'm looking forward to finishing Arizona Sunshine 2. Looking forward to playing my way through Resident Evil 4 and then Asgard's Wrath 2. Those are kind of the big ones for me right
yeah.
now. So we did have some slippies like Sanador the Game Tiger, who said, I just picked up Helldivers, but I haven't tried it yet. We've got who else slipped in here? Abjay. What's up, Abjay? Mark Pringlesleaf slipped in. Ace Diaz slipped in. So hello. Time to play VR is here. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. Quadzilla's here. Really quickly, as a mind jive, as I'm reading through a lot of these names, a lot of these people who won games during the
Hmm.
2023 show, there were a few people who I didn't get keys to
Oh.
because I had to either request them from the developer or the keys that the developer originally sent didn't work. I got a handful of people left to send keys to, and I'm going to get on that ASAP. Hopefully this evening I'll get through the rest of that. People were quite respectful. Most people were quite respectful when I was away dealing with my father's death, except for there was this one dude that just kept on
Bugging you.
blowing me up. Like he asked for his key, and I'm like, "Sure, here's your key. Sorry it took me so long. Um, I'm
Of
burying
course,
my
that was
dad
the key that didn't
today."
work. Oh, sorry.
No, that one worked, but they had won another game like before that I had to ask the dev for, and he's all like, "I'm sorry for your loss, but what's up with that other key?" And then just over and over again, like,
That
you
doesn't
know,
sound like you're
"Can I
sorry,
get the
bro.
key?
I mean, I'm just
Can
saying.
I get the key? Can I get the key? Can I get the key? What's up? Can I
I
get
had
that
a
key?"
I had a few people whisper me and be like, "Hey, I
Yeah.
can't get a message from Wes," and then I, you know, kind of danced around it for a while, and then once it got to a point where some people were starting to get like, "What's going on?" I was like, "Hey, look, his dad just died," like, and then they were like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." So most people, they just don't know. They're so excited about VR, they want to play games. So we
Yeah.
appreciate it, and I'm glad that you're that nightmare of the keys. That's why I stay so far away from that. Is I just yeah.
Anyway, I plan on getting everyone's keys to him, if not tonight, tomorrow. Except for that dude. He'll get his last because
Very
that
last,
was
you'll
rude.
get it though. We'll give
Yeah.
it to you, bro.
Yeah. Oh,
But
definitely give it to him, but yeah, a little rude. Tatum with the $5 donation says Virtual Strangers is back now on the 5K
and beyond, that's
and
right.
beyond.
Let's do it. Let's go.
Absolutely. We are back. We are ready to go. What's up, highlight notes? Said you were a little busy, Wes. If someone didn't understand that, then you should have deleted it. No, he won. Honestly, I imagine it's probably some kid, somebody who's just not old enough to know any better.
Yeah,
So I'm trying not to take it personally.
that's true.
Um, Classy Grandma with another $5 donation. I'm so very sorry for your loss. Oh my God, big hug. Thank you, Classy Grandma. You're awesome. You're all awesome. Thank you very much.
When did they add
Um,
the fact that you can like the super chats? Is like that's kind of a thing
that's
now.
pretty
Like
cool.
it is cool, but like I noticed that people in my family liked some of my texts, And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, we're now liking texts too. I think it's weird. I mean, here it makes sense, but in a text message, no, it does not. And
You
by
know
the
what's
way,
funny is that you can like things, but you can't dislike anything anymore.
not
It's not
anymore.
allowed.
No, you can't let people know what people don't like, Wes. That's just not allowed.
Yeah, right. Anyway, we are back. We are happy to be back here talking about VR games, which is what we do best. So, with that said, why don't we talk about some VR games?
Product not yet rated.
Alpha Squad, if you can hear me, you need to get out of there. Now!
Zombie Army VR announced for PSVR 2, SteamVR, and Quest 2 and 3, due out in 2024. This from Sal Romano at Gamatsu. Rebellion Developments and XR Games have announced virtual reality first-person shooter Zombie Army VR for PSVR 2, SteamVR, Quest 2, 3, and Pro. It will launch in 2024. Here's an overview of the game via Rebellion Developments. Bringing the Zombie Army franchise to virtual reality for the first time, the game will let you experience the fear, thrill, and spine-chilling tension of the zombie apocalypse through the immersion of your headset. Following the story of the Zombie Army series, in Zombie Army VR, you return to the field as one of the Dead Hunters, an elite squad that is hunting down zombie war criminals. You will fight your way through the undead hordes near the bombed-out city of Nuremberg and help Hermann Wolf, the Dead Hunter's legendary leader, find his scattered family and fight to free Europe from the zombie apocalypse. VR brings a new level of immersion to the nail-biting action of the Zombie Army series. Use both hands to aim down the sights of your rifle and line up that perfect shot at range. When things get up close and personal, use each hand independently to dual-wield pistols and submachine guns. You'll also need to master reloading drills as the undead masses bear down on you from all sides. Overcoming your nerves and operating under pressure will be crucial if you are to succeed. To help send the undead scourge back into the abyss, you will have access to an arsenal of authentic World War II weaponry, including sniper rifles, submachine guns, pistols, and more. You'll also need to earn XP to level up your Dead Hunter as you fight zombie-infested 1940s Europe, and use weapon upgrade kits to modify the range, accuracy, scope, and ammo capacity of your weapons. New features include new spine-chilling campaign, authentic World War II weaponry, and impactful melee combat. Relive devastating long-range shots with the signature X-ray kill cam. Virtual reality enhances the expressive interactions and tactile experience of the Zombie Army franchise. Player progression, player progression and weapon modification. Slay alone or take the fight online and join a friend for 2-player co-op. Competitive arcade-style scoring system. B-haptics and force tube support on Quest and PC. Wide range of accessibility features including color blindness, audio rotation options, and more. Watch the announcement trailer, which we just did. Uh, so this was kind of the big blockbuster announcement while I was away, Roots, that this Zombie Army franchise is making its way into VR this year. And in case those of you haven't put it together, this is the same studio that brought us Sniper Elite, both inside and outside of VR. Um, I've known about this for a while, Roots, that this game was coming. Not specifically this game.
Mm.
I knew that they were working on another game for VR from one of their franchises. I put two and two together and assumed that it was Zombie Army. I hoped that it was Zombie Army, and in fact, it is Zombie Army. Um, you know me, man. I love Sniper Elite. I love shooting zombies. This is just a perfect game. I feel like for VR.
I think it's cool, way cooler to me than a Sniper Elite scenario. Like, you know what I mean? This undead zombie army and the same. The game was amazing of Sniper Elite. The same gameplay, essentially. I'm assuming, you know what I mean? Probably even better. But yeah, that's super cool. I didn't even know that this existed as far as outside of VR, right? So does it sounds like this is an adaptation, a game that was already in existence, and they're adding to it and bringing it into VR? Is that correct, or am I reading that wrong?
Well, this is a franchise outside of VR. I think there's three or four of these Zombie Army games that have been published. They're not adapting an existing game out of that franchise. This is an all new game and an all new campaign for that franchise built from the ground up for VR.
But it says it's a new spine-chilling campaign, kind of like it's
Right, right.
an existing game that's built onto. Either way, I the fact that it's an existing IP, I think that's really good. It looks
Yeah.
really good. It looks very fleshed out. Looks very fast paced, and it looks like it has everything that it needs to make this amazing. I'd love to see if it was 3 or 4 player co-op, but I'll take two.
Yeah, for
But I think
sure.
it looks cool.
But there's some cool things about this. It's going to have everything you love about Sniper Elite. Only now it's going to be dark and it's going to be zombies. It seems like you mentioned, that there's going to be some co-op gameplay, which is awesome. The other cool thing is it seems like the progression is going to be a little bit more fleshed out than Sniper Elite VR.
Right.
Which is awesome as well. We're getting closer and closer to that traditional gaming threshold now as we move into the third generation of VR games.
I think it's the devs, 100%. Because this is the thing, and now that a lot of these developers have figured it out, and that Unreal Engine's starting to get easier, and there's so many tools to bring games into VR. Just getting the physics, getting everything to work and play was 90% of the time, right? Like, and the devs, and I was saying this to somebody the other day. For a long time, it almost seemed like the developers forgot to make the game fun or make it a game, right? It was so much was made to get it to work and run right, and everything, that the gameplay loop was ended up having to be shallow because they don't have infinite time for these games. They don't have infinite money, right? You can only focus on so much. So I would expect that we should see more and more of this, especially when you have a game like this that already exists. Like the gameplay loop already exists for this game. They just needed to bring it into virtual reality, right? So I am actually very looking forward to this. I think it'll be cool, or it could be cool.
Yeah, and as good as Sniper Elite VR was and Winter Warrior was, they're actually partnering with a different studio to bring this franchise to VR than um, than the Sniper Elite series. I don't remember exactly what studio it was that did Sniper Elite. I have a couple in mind. I don't want to say it out loud because I don't want to get it wrong. But the studio that's bringing this franchise in the VR is XR Games, which brought us Zombieland Headshot
Oh
Fever
God,
Reloaded, which is,
you
I feel
you
like,
know
another good choice.
that's actually one of the games. Dee and I went to Dave and Buster's here in Colorado Springs 2 weekends, or last weekend. Yeah, last weekend, because we didn't do the show, and they had about 7 or 8, maybe even a dozen VR games, and they were actually very reasonably priced for
Hmm.
comparably to all the other games. And Zombieland was one of them. Another one was Synth Riders, and so we're starting to see these games make into popular arcades, which was cool.
That's cool. I've never been to Dave and Buster's. We have one about an hour drive from here, but I've never actually gone to one.
It's
So.
worth it. I think if you guys are already going to be in that area, and the way that it works is you can, you get a card, that it's the kids would love it. And there's actually a lot of stuff for adults as well. They have food there. They got, drinks if you want to have drinks. It's just it's cool.
Yeah, maybe we do that this summer sometime because we drive by it a lot. We just never have stopped. So
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
well, you tell your kids they can thank Roots when you guys go in there. Say, that was Roots that brought that up. Then they can like me even a little bit more.
Anyway, Zombie Army Zombie Army VR revealed during the PlayStation VR2's birthday celebration, but that was not the only reveal that we got during that celebration.
That's us. The question is, how in hell's name did we end up in this dilemma? Well, running from the Rooskies certainly wasn't on my bingo card. But sometimes the only way forward is back. Let me explain. It begins with you inheriting me, a time-bending watch. Unfortunately, you've also inherited a rather hefty burden. Essentially, you have to save the entire human race. That old chestnut. Problem is, time is complicated. And we're not the only ones tangled up in this mess. We've got our work cut out for us. But there are a few things you should know. Firstly, we can travel through time whenever we please. To the good, the bad, and sometimes the downright ugly. Everywhere we go, we become someone else from that time and place. It helps us blend in. And most importantly, we can take anything we want with us, wherever we go. That's it. Easy, right? Like I said, sometimes the only way forward is back. Oh, and hey, one last thing.
May the weathermen come to bring us sugar and tea and rum.
Wanderer, the Fragments of Fate launches this June. This is from our friend Henry Stockdale at Upload VR. Wanderer, the Fragments of Fate arrives this June on all major VR headsets. Previously announced last year, The Fragments of Fate is a remake of 2022's Wanderer by Mighty Eyes. Playing as Asher Newman, it originally focused on escape room style puzzles as you travel through different time periods using your watch companion. Following last year's gameplay reveal, Mighty Eyes revealed a new trailer alongside the release. Announced via the PlayStation blog, today's news joined a handful of updates to celebrate PSVR 2's first anniversary. That includes reveals for Little Cities Bigger and Zombie Army VR, a free Arizona Sunshine 2 update that adds a Corgi as your new fearless companion buddy, plus a new look at Third Verse's Soul Covenant. Wanderer the Fragments of Fate reaches the MetaQuest platform, PSVR 2, Pico, and SteamVR on June 27th, 2024. So this is 2 days after my birthday,
Ooh, happy birthday.
and right
Future-
on
future
Spry
Wes.
Guy's birthday.
Yeah.
Right.
Spry, I guarantee Spry's going to be there trying to eat your cake. Actually, he could. He's been at your house. He knows where you live.
That's right. But no, man. I mean, what is there to say about the Fragments of Fate that we haven't already said? This was pretty well known as the best VR game that came out in 2022. It was amazing. It was great, even on PlayStation VR 1. It was beautiful and
Yeah.
great. And now we've got a full blown remake of it coming in just a few months' time.
It's crazy. I'm excited. I can't wait to play through it. And I was telling you during the trailer, I think it's really good that this game is going to be this amazing. This is what we need. We need people to come into VR and see this quality of a game on their PlayStation VR2 to go along with the other games like that are amazing, like GT7 and Resident Evil 8 and all the Sony games that people say aren't that. There's nothing out there. The best games that came out in 2023, by the way.
So not only did we get some more gameplay footage of the game, and it looks amazing. It's obvious that it's going to be to some extent the same game, but it's not going to be exactly the same game. There are new gameplay elements and sequences in here that we didn't see in the first one. So it is going to be somewhat fresh. But I feel like the big headline coming out of all of that, Ruuts, was the little 3-second flash there at the end that showed that Wanderer 2 is in development right now as well, which appears to be some sort of pirate adventure. And I know that's right down your alley, right?
Absolutely. It's funny because when we were watching it, you were like, whoa, watch. You kind of stopped me. And because I wasn't paying attention. I didn't even know that was there, dude. Like I got more excitement from that than anything, just from the pirate flag, right? It looks so good. And I think they could do a really amazing pirate adventure. Because we don't really have any out there. I know we got a new pirate survival game, which I haven't tried, but so.
Yeah, there was some cool stuff that happened while we were away, and that's one of them. The Bootstrap Island launched, and I'm curious about that one. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, survival games. I mean, if they've done well, I learned with Power World, you can actually enjoy it, right? So,
yeah. Ghost of Tabor got a new map while we were away. Breachers got a new team deathmatch map while we were away. They actually have a bigger team deathmatch arena now than they had before, and a new HUD for the game for that mode as well. I feel like it's been long enough since we've been in Breachers that it's getting close to time for us to get back in there. Because I mean, there's 2 new maps now, and a bunch of new things have got added in since we played it. And now there's haptics on PlayStation. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on there.
There's a lot of reasons though we really haven't gone into those kind of shooters. Like we want other people to do well. We don't want to like go in there and just kick everybody's ass, get them pissed at us. Wes is such a crack shot, so we kind of hold back a little bit. At least that's my excuse I tell myself. So Wes is a crack shot though.
Veil launched while we were away. Alvo came to Steam right as we were having our last episode. We've been talking recently about getting in there, maybe doing a live stream for Alvo. I think that would be cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff happened while we were away. Anyway, Wanderer, the Fragments of Fate coming this June. Very much looking forward to it. Looks really cool. Really excited to see that the sequel is in development as well. And hopefully we see that next year sometime.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's talk about some new news. This is actually news from this week, and I think it's pretty cool. A lot of people excited for this one. VR's next big battle royale shooter goes into open beta today. Trailer here. This by Scott Hayden at Road to VR. Caveman Studio, the developers behind team-based shooter Contractors, today released the open beta of Contractors Showdown, its upcoming battle royale game for Quest and SteamVR headsets. The 45-player battle royale shooter presents a pretty big battlefield, touting a 16 square kilometer island that's around a quarter the size of Manhattan, albeit including a mix of landscape with the standard array of dilapidated buildings, various landmarks, hills, and other structures to hide around. You can squad up with up to 3 players or go it alone as you parachute down from your starting point at the airplane, giving you a chance to pick your route before the zone closes, which kills those outside. Basic battle royale stuff, but a ton more immersive thanks to the keen gun handling, climbing ability, backpack inventory system, vertical zipline, and parachute that lets you cover distances quickly. And as you'd expect from any PUBG-inspired game, there's a whole arsenal littered around the map to choose from too, including pistols, submachine guns, automatic rifles, shotguns, sniper rifles, grenades, flashbangs, and more. That comes along with weapon customization, gear upgrades, damage indicators, and more. The open beta is set to last from March 1st to March 17th. You can play free right now on Steam or Quest 2, 3 Pro via the Quest Store. It's not certain when we'll see official launch, although the game's Steam page notes it will arrive sometime after April 1st in quarter 2 2024. To keep tabs on further development, you can also join the Contractors Showdown Discord. Ruuts, I've been hearing great things about this game for months on end now. And now they're opening their doors to the public, and I'm hearing even more great things about this game.
Wow.
People are saying that this could be the game of the year. And that's pretty incredible. Again, considering that this is coming from Caveman Studio, not Sony or Meta or any of the studios within their stable. I generally don't like playing betas, but I'm very tempted to get in and see what all the fuss is about here.
Yeah. Well, especially if you want to have any influence, that's what the beta's for, right? And there's people on like JS saying says doesn't like the insurance system, that there's no squad wipe sound. The timer on the user side takes away from squad wipe, endorphin rush. You get another battle rouse. Well, this is the thing. Go to the Discord, and make that known. Even this show, maybe the devs see it and hear me say that, and they consider it. There's a lot of things that can change, and those are things that probably could change. Whether they need to or not, I don't know. People are saying they love it. And then FNH8 it.
F and hate it.
F and hate it. Yeah, okay, I see it now. F and hate it says the game's amazing. They just pushed the 60 player lobbies now.
Yeah.
So what I was telling Western, the video is like, this is something that really isn't really filled yet. This hole for this type of game. We have Pop One. We don't have really a Call of Duty Warzone real battle feel to it. And what I haven't been in this game, and even if I hadn't, and nobody had said anything, I would believe it's probably going to be good, because Contractors has been around for 6 years, and not only has it been around for 6 years, it has some of the best shooting in VR, right? The combat, it feels good. So all they had to do was take that same game and put it in a battle royale game feel, and it succeeds. And from what people are saying, it's going to succeed. So super cool. I agree. I think we should get in there, check it out during the beta, and let people know what's going on, and maybe we can even play with some people that are watching the show.
Yeah. I've been talking with Wise Director from VR Central about this game. He's been playing it pretty much since they opened up closed beta for it.
Okay.
And he says it's called Warzone. This is called Warzone in VR. And I know that's what a lot of people have been waiting for years at this point. and they're nailing it
Mm.
apparently.
Well, now see, there we go.
Um,
We have COD Warzone now in VR via Contractor Showdown, and we have COD in general in Alvo, which I think people are missing the boat. You definitely need to get in there. I just picked up my copy of Alvo yesterday. Actually, Wes gave me a key from the developers. I know Dee picked it up and she loved that game. Remember how much time she put in? She's got to re-level it, but she's excited to get back in there. So between these two games, I think that hole is being filled for a Call of Duty like game, right?
how about this? Obviously, Alvo is it's cross-platform, so anybody that wants to play with us who has it on Quest or PlayStation VR 2 can play along. But if you're only PC VR and you want to get in and play with us as well, then maybe catch this key I just dropped
Oh,
into the
oh my
the
God, you guys
chat.
better be quick. It's the whole key. Just copy paste, copy paste. Techno glitch. He's out there.
Alvo.
This is standard
Steam.
contractors in COD too. Oh, cool. Well, all I know is that I Contractors is one of my favorite shooters, or it was. It was my favorite shooter next to Pop One, and then Alvo became my favorite, and this one is probably going to become my favorite battle royale, is my guess. So
Yeah, and for what it's worth, we loved Pop One.
right, I love
Um,
Pop One. As a matter of fact, I went through my channel on YouTube when I was actually streamed there a couple weeks ago, and was seeing how many streams of Pop One I did back then. I was like, oh shit, I played a lot back then. So
I don't know if there a game that we've played together more than Alvo. Maybe Walkabout,
yeah.
but that's it. We've played quite a bit of Alvo together. I felt like.
Absolutely. Oh, F and Hate It got the key. Let's go.
Oh, let's go.
Nice.
What's up? Good catch.
Good catch.
All right. So yeah, shout out to Steve
I
for
think he got it.
providing us keys
Absolutely.
for Alvo. He gave us quite a few of them, so we'll be dropping them here and there in the coming weeks. And watch out for our stream. I don't know when we're going to do it yet, but the next time we get a little break in the release schedule, we're going to stream some Alvo and
Well,
give away.
I
some
was
more
telling my
keys.
stream on Twitch that I'm going to start making a point to make at least one, try to stream more 3 nights a week, and one of the nights will be VR. And so I will put Alvo into that slot in there, because and maybe we can get some Alvo community action going on.
Oh yeah,
Because like I said, I feel like it's probably the most underrated shooter on Steam right now. So
agreed, and I don't know how close it is, but I know some of the things that they're working on behind the scenes, and if that stuff ever sees the light of day, the game's going to get even better than it is right now.
yeah, that's awesome.
Evan Hayden says there's talk of PSVR 2, but they want to see how the launch goes before porting. That's fair. But yeah, Contractor Showdown in open beta for about 2 more weeks, exactly 2 more weeks. All you have to do is go to the store page for Contractor Showdown, and there's a button to join the beta. So just go in there, click the button, and you've got a free game for the next couple of weeks. Pretty effing cool. Anyway, Ruuts, we mentioned all the stuff that we've missed playing while we've been away. All these games that we're going to be catching up on when we get time. But I don't know when we're going to get time, bro, because I don't know if you heard, but there's some shit out this week. I feel like we're back just in the nick of time to start catching the games as the release schedule starts picking back up. So why don't we take a look at what's out this week? And as we look at the XR update release calendar, as you can all see here,
It's good shit
March
on
is
there,
looking
man.
yeah, March is looking pretty fucking solid already, even the first week. Before we start talking about some of these games individually and taking a look at them, I want to start by talking about Overdark, a do not open story. This game has so originally Do Not Open, which was a procedural horror puzzle game for PlayStation and Steam, came out. That game was originally supposed to get VR support. They eventually backed off of that though when they realized that that type of game really wasn't well suited for VR. So they decided to build a game from the ground up for VR that kind of plays into the same story, but has puzzles and events that are more fun for VR players to play. And that game is Overdark. Um, it got a release date. It got pushed back. This is kind of the second or third release date, March 7th. I'm not entirely convinced, Roots, that this game is going to come out this week.
Really?
Well, here's the thing. Even though they did just do a playable demo during the last Steam Next Fest, which I did play, and it was pretty decent. There's no trailer for this game.
Mm.
Like, what game that launches this week doesn't have a fucking trailer yet? Like, I don't
know.
even understand that at all.
If you were like 2 or
Um,
3 years in the past, I'd say that was like the norm, right? Like all of a sudden, game would drop, or we can't find trailers. They're starting to get more consistent, but that's crazy, right? You kind of want people to
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
the game's coming out.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't know about this game, and a lot of people don't know that it's coming because they haven't done just the basic things that you do to market a VR game. So part of me hopes that it comes this week because I want to play it, but another part of me hopes that it's not coming this week because they're blowing it.
Yeah,
So we'll see.
there's some good games up there they're going to be going up against. I'm really excited about Swarm 2. Curious about
Yeah.
the Pirate Queen, of course. Jeff Minter. Like, there's just like all of that.
Yeah.
Everything on there looks good. So
Yeah. So why don't we take a little bit closer look at some of these, and let's start with the Pirate Queen.
Sister, over here. What news?
The Pirate Council will be assembling soon.
And only one of us.
Some time now. This is sometimes they call it a game. It looks more like an interactive experience to me. And this one's been making its way around the award circuits for the last couple of years. The Tribecas, all of these immersive video awards. It's been making its way through, and it's been winning. By all accounts, very high level of production here, world class voice acting from the likes of Lucy Liu, among others, who is also one of the executive producers of the project. This is one that I've been looking forward to getting into and checking out for some time, Roots, because as you know, I feel like these story driven experiences, these interactive experiences, are one of the strengths of VR. And kind of in the early days of VR, as impressive as they were always too short. But these days, while they're coming a lot less frequently than they used to, they're tending to turn out to be a lot better and more immersive. And I feel like this one has a lot of potential to be very, very good. And tell us what is based on a true story, the Pirate Queen. So, looking forward to checking this one out when it launches here on Thursday.
yeah, this is actually what I was just looking when I was looking up different images, right? I saw that there's like books, right? This is like novel series and stuff. So I thought that was kind of cool. We're starting to get mainstream stuff. It may not be something that I've ever heard of, but I guarantee there's people out there that really love the series or whatever it is, and are wanting to check it out in virtual reality. Again, the same thing I said about gaming applies to this as well. They're starting to have it. It's not starting to become old hat to get these games into VR for the most part. Now they're focusing more on the content, which is what we've all been screaming about for a long time, which is very makes me happy because I'm sick of screaming, Wes. I'm sick of being negative. I'm sick of I feel like I've been had this charge to you have to let everybody know so that we don't stay in this state. And I feel like I've a mission accomplished. I can go back to happy-go-lucky roots and stop being so angry. So
Word. Our friend Gamertag VR joining us in chat. What's up, GT? Says I need to make an appearance on the show again soon if they'll ever
Please.
have me again. Dude,
Open invitation.
open door policy for you, bro. You can jump in whenever you want. We were actually just off air talking about how much we appreciate the content that you do and the approach that you take, the even-handed approach instead of being negative for the sake of clicks
And rushing
yeah.
content. Everybody's rushing content instead. Like you're just so focused on, like you legitimately want to do what you're telling people you want to do. You want to let people know is this game. You don't want to waste people to waste their money, and the space needs it. It needs you. So we appreciate you.
Absolutely. Real recognize real, son.
Yep.
What's up? Pirate Queen looks pretty awesome as far as these story-driven experiences go, but maybe you're not down with that sort of thing. Maybe you would rather play a game. Well, if that's the case, do we have a fucking awesome VR game coming out this week or what? Swarm 2 coming out this week. The sequel to one of our very favorite Quest exclusives from the first generation. Ruuts, we've talked about it hundreds of times at this point, just how much we love the original Swarm. Swarm 2 coming to Quest 2 and Quest 3 this week. It looks like we've got bigger, more open arenas to fly around in, and new enemies, new weapons, and the same great gameplay loop that we've always loved. It's Spider-Man with guns, bro. I mean, what else is there to say?
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody's saying they should say that in an ad. Well, as long as they don't, like imply that they are. It's like they're running with it. And I think it's smart. And I was saying I also think it's a mix between Space Invaders. It kind of has that feel, like you said, right?
Yeah, but yeah, especially early on when you get these big waves of enemies that are easy to kill. It does have one of the like an old arcade style gameplay, except you're in it, and it's full on 3D and breakneck speed. But that's just part of the game. You do have bigger enemies with different kind of tendencies that you have to learn, and then you have your boss fights, which are typically pretty intense. What I love about it, Ruuts, is the movement. Like, not only are you moving pretty quickly, grappling around these arenas, but the verticality of it is amazing. You can get so high up in the air and then just blast shit as you're falling back down to the ground.
It feels so good.
Yeah, it's great. It really is great. So I look forward to playing this one this week, as this is another one that's coming out on Thursday.
Somebody wants to know if Hookedworm wanted to know if there's any chance of this coming onto PlayStation VR2 or the first one. I mean, you'd think it would be no brainer, but
yeah, I think a lot of these questions, we get these questions about every game, and at this point, it really just depends on people, man. If people want these games to come to PSVR 2, then people are going to need to buy PSVR 2 headsets and buy PSVR 2 games. Like
True.
the the platform needs to grow a little bit. It doesn't need to grow a lot. I mean, it's not like there's tons of people out there playing Steam, and playing PCVR. Um, but the studios that have jumped in on PSVR2 already are doing so as a gamble. They're expecting people to come along with them. But with all the negative press and all of the haters out there over the last few months, you're really hurting the chances of people continuing to bet on PlayStation. So when if you want these games to come to PlayStation, then we need to be a little bit more honest with people about PlayStation and where we think it's going. And we need to get people in those headsets buying those games. So while they haven't said anything specifically about this game coming to PlayStation, I can tell you from experience that these game developers will take their games anywhere where they can make money. And if it turns out that PlayStation becomes a viable marketplace, then we'll start to see a lot of games like Swarm and like Contractors, Showdown, and all these other games make their way over to it.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, the original one didn't even come to Steam. Swarm was, or am I wrong about that?
I think I have it on Steam. I could have sworn. I hope it.
Let's find out. I want to make sure that I'm not fucking this up. So let's find out.
Yeah, because I could have sworn well, of course, now it wants me to like log in. Oh yeah, good. That's cool. Because I set my family share up for my roommate so he could play my games, and now it's like, are you sure it's you?
Now that I'm thinking about it, it seems like this game was on did finally make it to PC because it was on Viveport Infinity, right?
Yes,
Didn't this game
I
come to
believe
Viveport
so.
Infinity?
I believe so. Hey, I just got an email to my Yahoo. It's it's so. I was just saying today, I don't mind doing it because I don't want to be hacked, right? But at the same time, I don't love doing it at all.
I fucking despise two-factor authentication.
It's a nightmare. I mean, it serves its purpose, but come on, man.
Come on, man. Yeah, Swarm is on Steam, by the way.
Let me make sure I'm not seeing my. I guess it doesn't matter. This is a one-time code. You can't use it again to get in. Nice
But
try.
according to Steam, it only came less than a year ago to Steam. So,
really?
Yeah.
Let's see. I want to see how many hours I have in. I know I've played a lot, and I would have played it here the most, even though, because I streamed it a lot, and that's one of the reasons why. Oh well, maybe I did play it on Quest because I don't see it under my library, and I'm sure we have it in. I know I've played it. It must be under the Virtual Strangers account. So there you go.
I don't know, but it is on Steam. The original Swarm, that is, and I would say I need to get on there and check it out, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go play Swarm 2.
Yeah, we got Swarm 2 coming in pretty soon
this
here.
week.
Wait, we got to beat the first one though, like to be able to feel like
That's
we
true.
Really...
That's true. I never finished the first one, so that's absolutely.
It got hard, Wes. Like there, and I refused to turn it down a level. And it got to I can't remember what level I got to, but I think maybe I should have a competition with Alan Cara, and we can see if who wins this game because I'm an expert crack shot.
Anyway, that's not all that's coming this week. That's not the only latest installment from one of my favorite classics that we're getting this week. And we actually have another game that, while it isn't a direct sequel to one of my favorites, it's coming from a legendary developer that created one of my favorite VR classics.
The original Akka Arrh was an arcade game that was made by Atari but never actually released. And there were only about 3 cabinets ever made. I think the only known one at the time was in the hands of a particular collector, and he didn't want anybody to copy the ROMs so that you could play it in emulators. He wanted to keep it to himself. But a friend of his, the legend goes, this guy actually managed to take the ROMs out of this game, sneakily copy them, and then put them back again. And so this game, which most people had never even seen, suddenly was available. And having heard about this game over the years as being this mythical, legendary thing I'd never seen, I thought maybe that would be an interesting game to try and update it, because I like the style. For me, the design process isn't something you do at the start and then code to a spec. It's something which evolves continuously as you're making the thing. So it's an iterative process and a process of evolution. From the original version, we've kept the geometric shape of the platforms. It's not an arcade game. I'm not trying to throw you off every 3 minutes to get you to put another coin in the slot. So I can make it a bit more of a relaxed pace. I've made it a bit more asymmetric. I've made the bulk of the gameplay occur upstairs when the thing's attacking on the top layer and meshing with the shape and behaviour of the geometry. I didn't quite know what kind of music I was going to put into it, and then one day I decided I'd like to have some kind of semi-generative stuff going on in there. It's like a tonal sequence which is generated by the enemies and by your actions as you shoot the enemies, which gives each level a kind of distinctive feel. Less is more, really, and I've toned down the sound effects a bit. And I found some old voice samples of this lady saying various things, and that's quite a distinctive part of the game now. Sonically, it ended up in quite a different place than it was when I first started. In fact, you could say the same for the whole gameplay. There was a lot of evolution and dead ends before it ended up where it should be. It took me a long time to find the set of things which work together to make a satisfying game. In the original arcade game, there was a notion of a shield, but you didn't really know how much shield you had left, and it was just, after a while being attacked, you would die. This gives you a much more definite indication of, I've only got 3 pods left, I better be careful. It makes it a bit more obvious what it is you're defending. My main inspiration has always been the arcade games of Eugene Jarvis. He did classic arcade games like Defender and Robotron. His style was very much like mine, or my style is very much like his, I should say, because basically I'm heavily influenced by him. But he has the same kind of shattering explosions and gameplay, which is spectacular but also difficult, and it's just a particular arcade game style which I absolutely love and admire, and is at the root of everything I've done.
Akka Arrh is out this week, coming to us from Lamasoft by way of Atari. I'm so excited for this, Ruuts. As you know, and as many of you out there know, Polybius, one of my all-time favorite VR games, just because of the mind-melting audio-visual experience of it all. Jeff Minter has a very unique signature style of games that he creates, especially the ones that he's brought into VR. But since Polybius, we haven't had another game that really had that kind of polish to it. Like we had the Minotaur arcade that came out, which was cool and had a lot of the same stuff that we like about it. But it was a little bit rough. It looked a bit dated in terms of the visuals. Moose Life, a very similar game to Polybius, but it looked a little bit rough and kind of dated visually. Not the case with Akka Arrh. Akka Arrh looks like it's had that time and money put in, and this looks like a polished Lamasoft title. And after a long wait, this game finally makes its way to PSVR 2 this week on the 7th. Can't wait to lose hours in this one.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I like this type of game. I'm assuming it's just like all the others, where it's just a controller-based game, and that's perfect.
Yep, that's right.
I just want to go in there and veg out and play games like I've always played, but in an intense, cool, musical, visual way, and that's like what these games are so amazing. And like these retro games that are like this, like it's taking the retro, bringing it into VR in a way that you can't play it on a screen, and so like I just know I'm excited for this one as well.
Yeah, yeah. This is one I've been excited for some time. Glad it's finally making its way to PlayStation VR. And something else cool for PSVR gamers to look forward to, and yeah, just a spiritual sequel to some of my favorite all-time VR games. So really looking forward to this. I think someone said today that he might be at PAX
Ooh,
when we're there in a few weeks.
cool.
So something else to be excited for too for those of you coming to the GameCat meetup. Vargosoft says Moose Life was going to be part of Minotaur Arcade 2 until Jeff decided to push it out a little bit more. Well, it's certainly a much better game than either of the games in Minotaur Arcade 2. I actually love Moose Life, and I played all the way through it, all 50 levels. It was a lot like Polybius in many ways, um, but it was blocky. The visuals were blocky, whereas Akka Arrh and Polybius are more smooth and layered. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one a lot.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool for sure.
Anyway, Roots. So we have Overdark potentially coming out this week. We've got Pirate Queen, Storm 2, Akka Arrh all confirmed for this week. Assuming that we try to do a show on Friday, it's kind of tough to pick three. But even if we do pick three, it makes me wonder, do we have room for one more? Because there's another game coming out this week.
All right.
Stilt is out this week, Roots. This is another one of those platformers that have you kind of moving around with your hands. Only this time a bit of a twist as you have spring loaded stilts. They should call this game Pogo instead of Stilt, shouldn't they?
It sounds like it. Yeah, stilt is by definition is something that's not changing. It's not spring loaded. Whereas a pogo, maybe they could use pogo stilt. Is there such a thing? So,
Um, anyway, so this one is a bit intriguing. This style of platformer has had its problems in how it's been implemented into VR before, but I feel like having these pogo sticks on your hands could mitigate
mm.
a lot of the movement issues that we've had with these earlier platformers, like No More Rainbows and such.
Well, isn't it
Um,
kind of similar to what's that other game we just played? This platform where you shot with your hands, or you
out
did out of hand, right?
out of hand, yeah,
And that
and
worked
out of
very
hand,
well. And it looks
yeah,
like
yeah,
this. It looks like this works very well as well. Not only are you pogoing, but it looks like you got like grapplings or something. And so you're doing
yeah.
different stuff. The fact that you were telling me during the trailer that this is a flat game that came out last year and was received pretty well.
Oh, no, 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 no.
Oh, it's a different game.
I was talking about Akka Arrh when I said that.
Okay. I was confused. Okay. So yeah, so now it looks cool. It looks intriguing to me. So I like platformers, especially if they're done well. Traditional platformers are designed to actually be easier if the faster you move through them. Like there's like a speed you can get at where you just kind of fly through and it just all syncs together. And it kind of looks like, at least from the limited gameplay I've seen, that's going on here, you know. So
Yeah. Not only do you have these stilts and whatever other kind of movement that you can get out of your devices, it also, um, I think you can get a guns built into it.
Oh,
So you're jumping in the air, you're shooting shit, you're landing, you're jumping, you're shooting, grappling. There is there's potential here for this. I typically prefer third person platformers, but we have yet to see somebody just absolutely nail the first person platformer in VR. If we take To the Top out of the mix, which was again great, all time great VR game, but not exactly a platformer, more of a like a parkour platformer.
wasn't
Um,
what's it called? That other swinging game was also first person, right? With 4 player co-op.
you oh, 4 player co-op
Yeah, the wind.
swinging.
I don't know why it's like that. We played with Mash, and you're swinging the trees. We played the sequel to it. I can't remember.
Oh, Windlands.
Yeah,
Windlands was a
Windlands.
platformer. You're right.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah, that's great.
platformer.
That's a great one.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah,
been done, but
and
and it looks like this one is hopefully the movement looks good. So
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, so I think there's potential here. Only time will tell whether or not they actually manage to succeed with what they were trying to do here and putting forth a great game. But I'm intrigued with it. I'm debating on whether or not we should, because they offered us a key. I haven't answered them yet
we could
because I know
try
so
it.
many
Just tell them that
so many other things
we
coming.
might
You
not
know,
talk about it. Like you know, like if
Yeah.
it's not if we my thing is if it's just not good, I'd rather just not talk about it.
Right. That's
You
our
know?
approach, right? We don't talk about bad games. We just don't cover them.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, because we're gonna run into them. I'm not big on shitting on games, and if a game sucks, I'm gonna go out and say it sucks. Although I am saying this game doesn't. It looks like it doesn't suck. Like everything I've seen from it so far looks good. So
Violator, the Game Cat, $20 US donation says, "What's up, guys? What's up, Violator? Thank you for the awesome donation, bro. That's pretty generous of you."
Classic Grandma wants to know if we tried Max Mustard yet. I have not. Have you tried it?
I've got it. I've got it on my account. This is a client of Impact, actually.
Oh, cool. Well
Yeah.
then,
I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say about it, but this one's coming soon. And for those of you who are excited and enjoy third person platformers in VR, I think you have something to look forward to here.
yeah, I love platformers. So I've been
Yeah.
playing through
Yeah.
the Crash Bandicoot 4 in the Unreal Engine VR mod. It's so good.
We'll definitely be covering Max Mustard when it comes out. It's like a week or two away, or I think before it comes out. So definitely more to come very soon on that one. So stay tuned.
Cool.
Someone was asking how much Akka Arrh is. I don't know if they're going to up the price for it on PS5, PSVR2, but I'm looking at the store page for the PS4 version of it right now, $20. So there you go. Seems like a fair price. It's 50 levels, as most of Microsoft's games are.
Is
And
it out yet? Classic Grandma says Max Mustard's out.
Max Mustard is not out. Max Mustard was going to come out on App Lab for a few weeks before it made its way to the main store. But then we were able to convince Meta that we didn't need to go to App Lab first. It was going to cause a bunch of confusion, the way that they were going to make us go through App Lab. And I don't want to get into too many details about why or how, but it was going to make a mess for us. And we were able to successfully navigate our way out of a potentially bad situation. And we're going straight to
Nice.
the main store now.
Well,
And
that's why the developers need somebody that knows what's going on to fight for them and make sure that those kind of things don't happen, because a lot of devs just go with it. They're like, this is what we have to do, and then they get pigeonholed into something that you guys knew was not going to be a good situation. So
Yeah. So I think it's coming out in about 3 weeks. Let me, if I can get this stupid
Brandon
web
says
browser
March
to work.
21st, he thinks, and
Yeah,
Classic
that's
Grandma
right.
says, no, it's out now, or I'm the F in big trouble. No, you didn't really say anything. You just said it's good. And we'll leave it at that. Just don't say any more, and good to go. Yo.
Yeah, Max Muster comes out on March 1st,
Oh, wow.
confirmed on the XR update calendar here.
That's crazy. That is 18 days before the big eclipse, American eclipse. Forms a big
there was
X.
a demo out for a while for certain people during Gamescom last year. Maybe that's what Classic Grandma is referring to.
Okay.
But no, the official launch is not out yet for a few more weeks. Anyway, that's what's out this week. That's enough. That's enough for one week.
Real.
You want to try to do a show on Friday, Rich? You want to try to play some of this stuff and maybe talk
can.
about it Friday?
We can. We have all
Yeah.
week. Right?
Yeah.
You,
So
like you
I
said,
think
we need to
will.
get back in the swing of things.
So, damn, what do we pick? I guess we'll talk off air which 3 we want to try to go with here. Well, we can maybe do 3 this week and then maybe do the other 2 next week because I want to play all of these.
And if you out there have an opinion on what we should play, let us know in the comments, because then we can maybe you could influence us. So many people say, oh my God, you have to play X, Y, Z. Then we do that. And we get comments for the algorithm and feed the AI. We love you, AI, by the way.
Well, I feel like we're going to do Swarm 2 for sure.
For real.
Like,
because that's the one I
feel
want
like
to play right now.
That's unquestioned. And then we'll probably do Pirate Queen because I expect it to be pretty short and quick, being an experience. The question is, what is the third game going to be? Do we do Overdark if it comes out? Do we do Akka Arrh right now, or do we do Stilt? I feel like it might pay off to delay Akka Arrh a little bit because it's one of those games that you have to play quite a bit to get good at to make it deeper into the game. You remember how Polybius was like, you didn't even really appreciate it until you made it past the 10th level, right? When things started really getting crazy.
Right.
So that might be the case here again with that one. So
I
that
bet
might
that
be
looks
a good one for
amazing
next week.
in the OLED. Oh, hold on.
So yeah, I guess okay.
Reconnection. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. And someone was saying it's rebuffering, and then I said it might be buffering before, and then it was like they must have been seeing the future.
JS says that we should do Contractors Showdown because of. Are we allowed to cover it? Like, if so, maybe that's what we do next week. Like next week we do Akka Arrh and Contractor Showdown, and then this week we do Pirate Queen and Swarm 2, and then either Overdark or Stilt, depending on if Overdark comes out.
Yep.
So I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk about it off the air. But I think we've got a pretty good little roadmap for the next couple of weeks here if we can manage to find time to play all this
I guess it's open beta. Anyone can cover it.
Boom. There we go. All right. So that I think that's going to wrap up what's out this week and move us into our next reminder, which is the wish list. This is where we ask all of you to take just a moment of your time to help support the last few remaining VR devs that are out there by simply clicking on something. It's a simple thing for us, but it's a big deal to these developers. And the more I'm involved in Impact, the more I find out just what a big deal it is.
How come no one else is doing this? No other shows are like hounding people. Wish list. Crazy.
I don't know, man. I know we've got a significant client right now who's going to pay content creators to cover their game at launch, but they're using some of that budget pre-launch right now because it's so important to get people to wishlist the game before it comes out. Crazy. Like it's such a big deal on the Meta storefront to to show that there's interest in the game before it even launches, that they're spending a significant part of their budget just to drive a wish list instead of sales later. That should tell you how important it is. And that's why we put a priority on asking people to join us each week in wish listing these games.
That's
And,
crazy,
with-
man. You know, a lot of people say that, you know, they don't have an opportunity to influence things going on in VR, right? Like we started doing our podcast because we wanted to tell people about VR and help influence it, right? Well, this is a way that everybody can do it, myself included. Like it's just easy. Just go wish list something, and you're also doing yourself a favor because now it's on your wish list, so you can actually buy it when it's on sale. Or like I don't even know. I've bought Helldivers 2 for a couple of friends myself this week to play with me. And like there's people out there that will buy games for people if they know that you like it and you want to play it, or you know. So it's just a good idea all the way around. So nobody loses.
Yeah. And it just takes a second to do. And I've already done it. Just like Bluebell, just like Michelle B, just like Brandon VR, I have wish listed Zombie Army VR
That's what I'm gonna do
because
too.
I'm super excited for it. I'm super excited for it. And we got to support these games when they bring franchises in the VR. This is what we ask for. And since we're so vehemently asking for these games, we have a responsibility to support them when we get them. So, absolutely. James Bell's joining us in the chat. Says, I do that on the Sony store. Too many games on the wish list. Yeah, man, I've got quite a few on mine. I go through every now and then and clean it up a little bit after the games come out. But Mepper says, I have 150 games on my wish list that have not released yet. So that's pretty incredible. Thank you, Mepper.
Spry was already ahead of the curve. He already had Army Zombie on his wish list. I don't blame you. It looks good. Or Zombie Army, I should say.
Scott, the PSVR game kept for life, same thing. So most of us are on the same page about what we're wish listing this week. But of course, you can wish list any game you want. Just let us know in the comments down below what you wish listed this week. The headbite says Sony needs to make it available for friends to buy gift games to others. Absolutely. How far behind the curve is the Sony store that you can't buy games for people?
It's crazy. It's like every store or everything has a little bit of something weird, like Meta or the fact that Meta still doesn't really have easy Twitch and integration, and you know, like there's certain things that you would think that somebody from inside would be like screaming at the top of their lungs, Sony, fucking like make it easy for people to buy gift card, or I guess you can gift cards is the only way, right? You just can't buy the game, actually buy them. It would be nice,
right? Yeah, you can buy people's store credit, but you can't buy game codes, and you can't just directly gift games to people like you can on Meta and on Steam.
It's different. Like if you want somebody to play a game with you, like even if it's something that they may not be interested in, they'll at least try it. But if you send them a gift card, they might not buy the game. They might buy something else. And then you're
gonna go buy Fortnite Battle Pass, bro, every time.
Yeah, well, it's kind of tempting. They got some cool skins. I wish Fortnite would bring it into VR. That'd be nice.
Yeah, 100%. Anyway, thank you to all of you out there who wish listed a game with us, or who is doing so after the fact, watching on the replay. We appreciate you, as do the developers out there. You are the salt of the earth. Thank you. And that brings us to our final reminder this week and every week, and that is how you can support us, our channel, our community, our show, our activities, our habits, good and bad. Of course, if you haven't already, the easiest and best thing you can do is subscribe. Hello, subscribe, big red button, easy. You can't miss it. You click on that, you ring the bell, and then you get notified when we go live, which, by the way, guys, we're going to start doing again now, in case you missed it and you didn't get the memo. We are back. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you ring that bell so that you'll know it when we go on the air. If you're already subscribed, you want to do a little something extra, you can do so by supporting us on Patreon, where as little as $3 per month gets you access to our weekly show notes. And I haven't forgotten you. by the way. I haven't sent the Patreon today's show notes quite yet because I didn't finish out the cutting room floor yet, but they're incoming. They're on the way. You get access to our weekly show notes. You get occasional insider updates. You get occasional exclusive content, all for less than $1 per week, and you get to feel good about yourself because you know that you have contributed a little bit into the kitty, allowing us to do things that we otherwise wouldn't be able to do. So, shout out to all the patrons out there. Oh, and you also get your name on the ticker at the end of the show when we say goodbye. We always thank all the patrons by name at the end. So thank you to all the patrons out there. Thank you to everyone who donated today. We really, really appreciate it. And you guys are the best. And of course, if you don't have any money to donate, we understand it's a hard economy out there. That's why it is 100% absolutely free to join the Virtual Strangers Discord. You'll find an invitation link in the description down below. And this is where we live. This is where our community lives and thrives. This is where we share music and movies. It's where we talk about games. It's
Police
where we watch
chases.
people run. Yeah, it's where we watch people run from the police. It's where we hang out 24/7, 365. We're always here for you. It's free. Just click the invitation down below. And with that said, friends, I'd like to thank you all once again for watching. For Ruuts, I'm Wes. We'll see you Friday, hopefully. Bye now.
Stay easy.